Sayyid rahimahullah ta'ala, he was discussing, before he went to the chapter, he was discussing the moment of the Isra of the Prophet, he said, يا خير من يمم العافون ساحته سعيه فوق مثل العين الرسل. He said, directly speaks to the Prophet. He said, he who is the best of those whose courtyard is seeked, the best of those whose courtyard seekers turn to. He, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is the best in what seeks. Not only is he the best of creation, but he is the best in what seeks. يا خير من يمم العافون ساحته سعيا on foot and on the backs of strong camels. ومن هو الآية الكبرى للمتقين. The Prophet the greatest sign for the reflect. For those who reflect, Prophet peace be upon him is not this event that we're talking about today is not just an event. It's not a mere point of history that happened that we discuss. We just talk about the details of what happened and how it happened. But it's a means of us connecting to the Prophet peace be upon him. Just like Imam Hussein started with his chapter, يا خير من يمم العافون ساحته سعيه فوق مثل العين من هو الآية الكبرى لمعتبر ومن هو النعمة العظمى للمقترين. The Prophet peace be upon him, the greatest blessing for those who are seeking for benefit. The greatest benefit. And how could he be the greatest benefit if we don't know the meaning of the Prophet peace be upon him? When the people of Quraysh, they turned their side to the Prophet peace be upon him, they slandered his character, they treated his Sahaba in a very bad way. They, treated him in a very bad way. Prophet peace be upon him went to life to seek help. I don't want to talk about Israa again, as Shaykh Ahmed rahimahullah ta'ala or may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him has already done. But he went to Ta'if to seek help. And what did they do? They turned their backs on the Prophet peace be upon him. The same exact way Quraysh did. And then we see the Prophet peace be upon him raising his hands to God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Saying what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this is your creed, I am okay with it. This is what you want of me, I am okay with it. All the troubles and all this da'wah that I'm going through, for your sake, I'm completely okay with it. And when times get tough, who do we turn to? We turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what the Prophet peace be upon him is teaching us. And immediately, the dua of the Prophet peace be upon him is answered. And immediately he's blessed in a way that no other prophet before him was blessed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us, not only are we able to relieve your worries and your pain, but we can elevate you higher than any other prophet. When Imam Ahmed al-Shawqi was talking about Isra, he said, إسرا بك الله ليلا إذ ملائكته والرسل في المسجد الأقصى على قدمي لما خطرت بهم ارتبوا بسيدهم كالشهب بالبدر أو كالجد بالعلم سلى وراءك منه كل ذي خطر ومن يفوز بحبيب الله يأتمني حسن السماوات وما فوقهن السجن على منورة ذرية النجم ركوبة لك من عز ومن شرف. He talks about Isra. He says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to elevate the status of the Prophet, peace be upon him. At the worst time for the Prophet, peace be upon him, at the death of his wife, was his shoulder, who supported him throughout his journey of da'wah and prophethood, and also his uncle, who protected him from Quraysh. When they passed away, this event took place. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to not just please his prophet, but to also elevate his status. The Prophet, peace be upon him, goes to Masjid al-Aqsa, and then he leads the Sahaba, he leads the other prophets, the Anbiya, in Salah. Not only that, then he ascends to the heavens. Why? To see the prophets that were before him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, when he was talking, he said, in hadith, he said, شَيَّبَتْنِي هُودٌ وَإِخْوَتُهَا. Why? Because in Hud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the seerah and the struggles of the other prophets that were before him. And at the end, what does it say? What does it say? فَبِهُدَاهُمْ مُقْتَدِهِ. And on their path, you should follow. فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. So in order to show him these prophets, and they don't just become as stories to the Prophet, peace be upon him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged a meeting between him and these prophets on the heavens. Shaykh already stated, on the first heaven, he saw Adam, his father, and our father. Second heaven, he sees the cousins who are Yahya and Isa, then Yusuf, then Harun, then Musa, then Idris. He ascends that way. So in the first heaven, he sees Adam. Second heaven is Yahya and Isa. Third is Yusuf. Fourth is Idris. Fifth is Yusuf, alayhi salam, and then Musa, and then Ibrahim. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, describes how they looked. And they all welcome him as a brother and as a father, because Ibrahim and Adam, alayhi salam, were his fathers. So, and then the Prophet, peace be upon him, meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose. This is a meeting to elevate the status of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Not a meeting to point and to find or to be a location of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke with Prophet Musa on Tur Sina. Not only that, but he was ordered to take off his shoes, because he was in an elevated place, in a respectful and honorable place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated his prophet and chose that they meet فوق سبع السماوات, in the best of places, that no one else has ever been. And then the Prophet, peace be upon him, was ordered, to pray 5 times. And then obviously that's when Salah was prescribed upon us. And then the Prophet, peace be upon him, came back to his people. And the crazy thing is, he said, Subhana man asra bihi laylan, wa man adnahu min qawsil jalalati qaba, wartadda min a'la, liyakhsifa na'lahu, wa yuta'im al-fuqara'a wal-ashaba. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was elevated to such status above the 7 heavens, met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was blessed in a way no one else was blessed, only to return back. And he chose to came back, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to sit with his Sahaba, out of concern for his Sahaba, to sit with them and to eat with them and to worry about them and to teach them. So today, we should understand that when we're celebrating such event, there's many reasons why we're celebrating this event. Any one of us can go home and can read about the Isra of the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's not hard. You can read it in English, you can read it in Somali, you can read it, in Arabic, you can read it in whatever language you want. But we're coming here so as a means of seeking a connection to the Prophet, peace be upon him. And if that connection is lost, then who are we? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. So tell them, O Muhammad, if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then follow me. When Hassan ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu was speaking about the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, شَقَّ لَهُ مِنْ إِسْمِهِ لِيُجِلَّهُ فَذُو الْعَرْشِ مَحْمُودٌ وَهَذَا مُحَمَّدٌ. The beginning of it, he said, بيتك بلوجي اسمها سيدي بيتك بلوجي وشق له من اسمه ليجله. Yeah. وضم الإله اسم النبي لاسمه. He says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put his name to the Prophet's name. Every time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, the Prophet, peace be upon him, is mentioned. one cannot accept the religion without saying his name. Your salah is not accepted without sending peace and blessings upon him. When you're being buried with his name. When the angels come to question you in your grave, they're asking you about who? About Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who? The Prophet, peace be upon him. On the day of judgment, who's saving you? Who's interceding for you? The Prophet, peace be upon him. So, you have his religion. We are named after him. We learn his seerah. It's wajib upon us to know his lineage. One cannot enter this religion except with him. You can't pray your salah without mentioning him. What other connection are you seeking? You just need to reflect on that connection. And that is why Imam al-Busayri, rahimahullah ta'ala, is saying what? وَمَنْ هُوَ الْآيَةُ الْكُبْرَى لِمُعْتَبِرِينَ. Prophet, peace be upon him, is the greatest sign out of all the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ هُوَ النِّعْمَةُ الْعُظْمَى لِمُغْتَنِمٍ. And who is the greatest blessing for those who are seeking to benefit, seeking to gain, benefit themselves. So don't let events like this, just be a mere point in history that we talk about, we discuss what happened and we leave. Let it be a point of reflection of where you are to your connection with the Prophet, peace be upon him. Where are your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What do you do when things get hard for you? How do you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If your du'as are not answered immediately, what do? You complain. You completely, become hopeless. What's your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much do you love the Prophet, peace be upon him? Because if you can't celebrate his birth, if you can't celebrate his Israa, if you can't celebrate the moments that the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, celebrated, if two surahs in the Quran are celebrating the Isra, 2 surahs, what more celebration do we need? Do we need evidence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is celebrating the Isra in two surahs, not 1, 2. They say he who denies the Isra is kafir by ijma'. And he who denies the Mi'raj is fasiq. Why? Because the Isra is mentioned in the Quran. If that's not a celebration, I don't know what is. If something that's mentioned in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala celebrated in 2 surahs needs proof for us to celebrate and to gather and to talk about, I don't know, wallahi, what else we would need. And that's it. And that's my message for today, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.